Well, hello and welcome back to a really special episode here on the GREYWOLF Garage channel. And the reason for it is because I am introducing the new GREYWOLF F150. This is a 2016 F150 Lariat in ingot silver. I happen to really love the silver colorways on vehicles, especially on F150 pickup trucks. It has a good number of options. In fact, it has almost all the options available with exception of the parallel park assist and, really annoyingly, the max tow package, which we'll get back to a little later in this video. So it has things like the LED headlights, again, slight caveat or foreshadowing there as well, power running boards, sunroof, that sort of thing. I purchased it at 7 years of age, and it had around 70,000 kilometers. So it was very lightly driven, single owner from new, and so it's in great condition. In fact, you know, usually when I clean it up, it actually ends up developing like a new car smell, which is pretty awesome to me that it even still has that. So I couldn't be happier. However, there are a couple of sort of upgrades or changes that we're actually going to do here in this video to make it ready for what is coming later on in the channel. So let's take a walk around back and I'll show you exactly what I mean. So the first upgrade is actually more of an accessory. Now, in the back of my pickup trucks, or F-150s in particular, under the rear bench seat, there's always like a storage compartment, I guess you'd call it, or yeah, I guess compartment. I want to say bin, but it's not really a bin per se. It's just like there's like a little retaining section that you can put in some road safety things. So I have a fire extinguisher, I have a road safety triangle, and in the past I've always had tie straps. However, you know, tie straps are great for lots of different reasons, not only securing things in the bed of the vehicle, but also they can be used for a multitude of different reasons. So with the rooftop tent that I have been using before in the past, I have used tie straps to anchor the corners of the vestibule down to, you know, like a large heavy object, or, you know, maybe straight to a tree or something like that. And they've been great for that purpose. However, you know, it's always really annoying to take time to like wrap it up after each use and, you know, tuck it in, and often like the excess, you know, webbing, you know, can like drag on the ground or just get dirty and etc. So I have made the splurge decision and got these off of Amazon. They were approximately $39 Canadian per pair, and what these are a retractable tie strap. So I'm gonna set the camera down and show you exactly how these work. So these are made by a company called Ericsson, and I actually do have some experience with Ericsson products. Let's see if I can actually get these open. I might need to cut them. Yeah, I'm gonna need to cut them. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So, like I was saying, these are made by a company called Ericsson, who make really good products. I do have some of their other products that I have used for other applications. They're all like tie-down related products. So when I saw that they were manufactured by Ericsson, I had a, you know, high level of consumer confidence. But my hope is a couple, twofold. First and foremost, just the ease of use, so that you don't have to, you know, wrap up your tie straps every use. I'll maybe speak for myself, but that's something that I do. Geez, they really got them in here, don't they? Let's see. Am I gonna have to pull this off too as well? Hope not. Hope not, hope not. All right, maybe we'll get creative. Almost. All right, cool. So I'll use this one as a demonstration. So as you saw there, I can just simply pull out on the actual tie strap. This is a 1 inch by 10 foot length. Let's double check. Yeah, 10 feet. And there's like a wound mechanism here. So you would pull out, you can say secure it to your two objects, and then you just use the traditional ratchet strap. Let's see here, I haven't actually used these, so there we go. And you can just ratchet them in, you know, to add you know, full tightness, that sort of thing. And then when it comes to releasing, there's like a little red lever here with an arrow. Just press that down and it releases, and so it will automatically recoil. So now I think it looks like you might even be able to like bolt it to a surface. I don't see it advertised anywhere, but I can just take this and pop these in that little storage compartment underneath the back seats. Something else I intend on using these for, in addition to actually just securing objects, is for like pulling back trees. So if I'm going down a trail, I can anchor this to a specific tree. I can, you know, form a loop and attach this to, say, another tree, and then I can ratchet them back and hold, you know, move the trees out of the way so I can drive past, and then I can come in and just simply release this and allow the trees and branches to go back into their original spots. So this is something that honestly I've known about these retractable tie-down straps for probably a few years, but this is not something that I would have normally just, you know, run out and purchased for myself. This is definitely a special occasion type thing, and so, you know, what better than to celebrate a new to me vehicle and getting some, you know, fresh tie straps. It's just, yeah, it's a nice little opportunity, you know, ceremonious opportunity. So I'm really excited about this. Now, next up is this item right here, and oh my goodness, was this a lot more expensive than I thought it was going to be. This is the trailer brake control module. So I mentioned earlier in the video that this vehicle does not have, or was not optioned with two options. First and foremost, that self-parking feature, which, you know, quite frankly, I could take it or leave it. I don't think I would ever use it. And the max tow package. That one, however, I do wish that I had, because the max tow package, as I understand it, for 2015 through 2020 or 21 F150s, and probably for 22 and beyond, they included a trailer brake control module, which I can't seem to figure out how to one-hand get out of this bag. Yeah, let's just tiger claw our way through here. There we go. So this is your trailer brake control module, I think. Yeah, I think it goes this way. I'll find out soon enough, or maybe not. There we go. That looks right. Where you would set your gain. So for trailers that have trailer brakes, you need to be able to set your gain relative to the weight of that vehicle. As well, it's really important to have a manual override for your trailer. A lot of people don't know how and when, more importantly, to operate the manual override. So I'm going to try to avoid any like legal liability here and just speak to the way that I approach a trailer brake control module. I have heard in like big rig settings, like, you know, transport truckers, they call these the company brakes. The reason being is that often you have owner operators of the tow vehicle, but the trailer belongs to whichever company that they're working for. And transport truck drivers will actually just use the company brakes to slow the whole truck and trailer down so that they can preserve the brakes on the tow vehicle. Obviously, you know, there's lots of safety implications that come with that. However, I, in my personal experience, have had to use this in an emergency situation. I was driving through the Tennessee Bluegrass Mountains with a empty cargo trailer, and there was a tight turn that was not really well marked for road signage. I knew there was a turn, but I didn't understand the severity of it, especially being on a main interstate highway. And as we went around the turn, the empty trailer wanted to step out. I did not have any anti-sway attached to the trailer at the time, and so what I did was I applied the trailer brakes slowly but progressively, so that the trailer would then get pulled back. It's almost like, you know, if the trailer was stepping out, it's as if somebody grabbed a rope and sort of pulls it backwards, adding a rear force, and that sort of helps snap the trailer back in line with the tow vehicle. So I would use this in situations where if, you know, like I was driving a vehicle that didn't have any anti-sway built into it, and the trailer started to sway, then I can gain control of the trailer brakes independent of the tow vehicle, rather than me stabbing on the tow vehicle brakes while the trailer is swaying and actually exacerbating the problem. So it's really important, again, you know, do your own research, but this is not just there for show or some sort of like, you know, added way of operating your trailer brakes, this does have a real function for towing, and you know, you should be familiar on how to use it. So maybe what I'll do in the future, I can always you know, speak to like an industry expert that's willing to give professional advice and take on that liability. But I also do want to say a thanks to Cam Clark Ford Airdrie for helping me out with the purchase of this unit, because, as I mentioned, this was eye-wateringly, shockingly expensive. This was $340 Canadian for just this module. And as mentioned, this is not the only component of the max tow trailer package on F-150s. That would also have included a transmission oil cooler, which I personally really would have liked, even though you know, I'm not currently towing any heavy trailers. I do live and will drive through the mountains on something you'll see in future videos. So having that additional cooling for the transmission so that, you know, you don't prematurely wear those clutches would have been really valuable to me. I am exploring the possibility of retrofitting that in, but taking a look at the schematics, it looks like it's actually, you know, it goes through the like an oil cooler block as well, so it's not just a matter of adding, you know, a radiator and a couple of hoses. So that may or may not happen. However, this is important and essential if you're towing any trailer with trailer brakes to have this. So $340. Now, that said, there are much less expensive, you know, third-party units available for purchase through Amazon. However, the way that I approach this is a safety item. Even though you know, sellers on the internet claim to have original products, there is a whole world of counterfeiting, you know, labels and packaging and that sort of thing. This one, you know, is from Moco, so Ford Motor Company. I purchased it, you know, again right through Cam Clark Ford Airdrie, and so for me, even if it costs me, let's say $150 more, but I know that I have a legitimate Ford product, then I can rest assured that that's, in the grand scheme of things, $150 is you know, a good bit of money, and I don't take that for granted. At the same time, you know, I think you know, when you're talking about the cost of ownership of a vehicle, I think it is a small amount of money in the long run. I mean, let's be honest, up here in Canada, $150 is like, I don't know, what, 3/4 of a tank of gas. So yeah, it's a sad reality, but that is the case. So that is one thing that we are going to be installing on this vehicle today. But I am going to show you the final item, and then we're going to get to work on that installation. So I've made my way back up to the front of the vehicle to show you the headlights and fog lights. Now, the headlights, I'm not sure which one is which in terms of high and low beam, but they are a LED light, and this has a really strong output, like a high light output, as well as a very nice crisp cut off in terms of top and bottom. And for aesthetic purposes, it has like a really distinctive 6,000-ish Kelvin, so kind of like a bluey white sort of look to it. Unfortunately, on model years F150 2015 through 2017, I believe, the fog lights were all a halogen bulb. And though they do a fair job at being a fog light, their light output is significantly less than a LED, and they have a different color temperature, and they don't have quite as sharp of a cutoff. However, in 2018, on Lariat Platinum Limited, you know, higher optioned and trim level F-150s, they have replaced these with LEDs. So, to the best of my understanding, this is actually a plug-and-play replacement. We will simply just have to remove the light assembly from the rear. It's held in by a couple of tabs. We do need to sort of measure on a wall so that we can appropriately align the tilt. You don't want to install lights of any variety that could be, you know, pointing up and distracting other drivers and not being effective, or equally so pointing down too low and again not being effective. And the LED ones again have like a better cutoff, higher lumen output, and a matching color temperature. Unfortunately, I'm not made of money, so while I couldn't afford to buy these new at $220 and $240 a piece, why the left and right are different prices is beyond me. I was able to snag a pair of pre-owned LED fog lights from a buy and sell for about $60 Canadian. So we're gonna go take a look at those now. Okay, so here they are. This is not the original box that they would have come in. In fact, they would have been installed on a vehicle. They do need a bit of a clean. Let's see if I can figure. I think this is going to be the driver's side, and I think this is going to be the passenger side. Yeah, that's my guess. Could be totally wrong about that. However, you're probably noticing right off the bat, they have all kinds of like little chips and marks. And what this is going to do is this is going to diffuse the light pattern, and it's also going to reduce its output. So we're going to attempt to clean this up, and we can do that through kind of like a multi-stage process. So from other projects before in the past, what I have done is, let's just give you a spin to the right. I have purchased this. This is a bench style polishing machine. I have a loose cloth here, a nice fresh one. And I have gone and purchased this. So Dyco is a manufacturer of polishing compounds, and you can see for plastic, to remove scratches, you would use TC6, and then for natural luster, you can use PBC. This is compound PBC. You think about this as more of like the final step of polishing, and then it tells you here as well what type of buff you want. So for natural luster, you want a medium. This happens to be really light. That's just what I have on hand. And TC6, I can't actually remember which one that is. I'd have to look it up. I should have that compound as well, and that you would use on a firmer buff compound wheel itself. What you can also do is you can take a random orbital and get yourself a collection. I'm just going to set you down here again. Get yourself a collection of different grit pads. Again, this was a nice Amazon find. I can't remember how much I paid for it, but it was practically dirt cheap. I think it was like $15, $18, something like that. So you have 240, 400, 800. Oh, there's a oh no, that's 1200, and then all the way down to 3000. And this is, I mean, this is basically like a felt. So 3000 would be akin to probably, you know, what this compound would do. In fact, it might even be lighter, but the wheel is going to make a much easier work out of it. So if, let's say, we tried the plastic compound and that's not enough, and then we tried TC6 and that's not enough, then what we can do is we can come in and we can grab ourselves some more aggressive polishing pads here, you know, maybe a 400 and 800, and we can try to take out some of these chips and marks. But we'll start with the wheel, because quite frankly that's a whole lot less work than using a random orbital. But right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pack this stuff away in the truck, and we are going to get to installing the trailer brake control module. All right, so this is the situation we're looking at. So this vehicle has your four-wheel drive selector, has the Pro trailer backup thing that I wish never existed, and then it has this little kind of like storage compartment thing down here, and this is where the trailer brake control module on this vehicle will go into. But we need to remove this plastic compartment in from behind it, and attached on the back of that is going to be an electrical connector. And to access this, we remove this panel here. To remove this panel, we need to pull this black plate out. To pull the black plate out, we need to take off a couple of screws from up top, which requires us to pop this up. We may need to pull this whole center console kind of back and out to allow this panel to come forward. And we may or may not need to remove a side panel down here on the kick side, in addition to possibly this plate here. I did watch a video. They removed this and a big steel crash bar reinforcement piece, but I don't think that's necessary. Gosh, it's really hot, so I'm gonna open the windows here, get a bit of a cross breeze going, and yeah, that should be it. So I'm gonna try to remove as little as I need. So we're gonna start with this up here, and I think if I just give this a lift with my hands, I can get a trim tool in here. I believe this one's just held in with a couple of snaps. There we go. And gosh, these plastic trim tools, they were super affordable. I think I bought them at Harbor Freight in the States, kind of like an American Princess Auto. All right, so I have our 7mm here. Probably should have gone with a shallow socket, but that's all right. Up here as it is. I always like to put my hardware in cup holders. That keeps it from, you know, rolling away and going missing. And let's see if this will pop forward for us now. Tool again. There we go. All right. So I'm just going to set that off to the side. Have a look-see here. So it looks like, let's see if this will, do I have to pull the whole piece out? Let's see. Should be just some tabs here. Yeah, it's definitely giving me a lot of resistance. And I'm gonna have to pull this side panel off. All right, so the last step is just to reinsert the two screws up here in the top. Oop, without plunging them into the abyss. Let's see if I can get this. There we go. All right, there we go. So we have our new trailer brake control module installed down here, just below the trailer backup assist and our four-wheel drive select. You may have heard me mention before that I really don't like this Pro Trailer Backup Assist. I don't like it for two reasons. As a philosophical kind of position, I don't like the fact that Ford created this device. And the simple reason being is that I think that it just promotes the reliance on technology versus skills development. So I'd much rather encourage somebody to learn how to back up a trailer. I mean, maybe you might find this useful when you first purchase a trailer, but I don't think that this is something that, I would personally be reliant upon or promote reliance on. And thus, that brings me to the second. If this is not sort of mission critical, as the phrase goes, what is the trailer brake control module. So imagine driving down the highway at highway speeds and there's an imminent accident right up ahead and you need to make a sudden, correction, and maybe, that causes your trailer to step out or something, some emergent scenario. Well, when you go to transition your hands down from the steering wheel, you now need to go underneath this device to access the more important safety feature. This is, to me, this is like hiding your brake pedal behind, you know, some, like the radio knob or something like that. You know, the radio knob down by your feet would not be, you know, sort of mission critical or safety related, but your brake pedal certainly would be. And so, I wish that if Ford really wanted to push this, you know, technology, then I would have rather seen that these two be flipped in position. And I could be totally wrong, but I think maybe the 2022 or 21 and up F-150s, they might have done that, being a safety concern. Myself, what I am going to do is explore the possibility of finding a vehicle without this Pro backup assist and see if there's just a blank that I can install here, so that if I'm reaching down for my you know, trailer brake control module here, that I'm not going to be obstructed by this this technology that I'll likely never use. Yeah, that's kind of some thoughts on that. While we're down here though, I'm going to show you one other thing that that I installed as a optional accessory. All right, so on the 2015 and newer F-150s, we have this little storage compartment. And inside this storage compartment, you can see that there is a module here that has two USB-A plugs. What you can do is you can purchase this new module and update your sync to sync 3.0 from what these vehicles would come equipped with is sync 1.0, and that will give you Apple CarPlay functionality with the use of a Lightning or soon-to-be USB-C cable. However, though I did install, this is the new module, and I did update the sync, there was a failure in that update, and so as a non-PC user, I'm not quite sure what to do. I'm hoping to get some help from some friends in the future, although this, to be frank, has been dragging on for quite some time. Nevertheless, so that I can update this to get really from, you know, a essentially 8-year-old vehicle to get some really current technology. I mean, it's not wireless Apple CarPlay, which would have been the ultimate. However, this is essentially just like the fog lights that we talked about. This is just a newer module that gives you better functionality out of your system. I'm not sure if this is going to work based on the refresh rate, but I'll show you kind of what happened. If I press the voice button on the steering wheel, you can see it says voice recognition not ready, and that's a warning according to Google and Ford's webpage that this just needs to be re-updated. So not quite sure how that's all going to come into play, but yeah, once I get it all figured out, I'll show you the Apple CarPlay in the future. All right, so that is it from the field. Let's go head back to the GREYWOLF garage and get to polishing those fog lights. Okay, so if you remember, I showed you outside the plastic compound is for the like fine, what do they call it here? For natural luster. However, to remove scratches, they recommend TC6, which I have here. This is a triple compound, and they again give the recommended compound already, which is this one here. Now, I always make notes on the storage bags that I keep it in, so you can see here that the triple compound, the TC6, I last used on aluminum as the first step. So what I do want to do is when I spin this up, I can actually see there's like a metallic sheen in there, and I want to clean it off. However, best practice would be to have like a full separate disc that is just for plastic refinishing. So next time I'm at the supply shop, then what I'll do is I'll pick up again a dedicated disc. Eventually, you know, with the materials that you use, you know, you'll have like stainless or aluminum or plastics, you know, you'll kind of figure it out and you don't have to worry so much about cross-contamination. That's not to say though that you shouldn't still clean your discs in between. Now, there is a proper rasp tool that you would use, and so as it spins up, you would just hold the rasp. I don't have that rasp yet, so instead, I just have a standard screwdriver. So I'll spin it up here and show you what that looks like. So not nearly as effective as the proper tools, but let's get this to stop spinning here. You can probably see that that sheen with all the aluminum bits is now gone. Anyways, let's get at it, and you know, see what we can do with these fog lights. All right, one thing to keep in mind is that the way that this polishing works is by using compounds, right? So what you want to do is make sure that you're keeping the lens, you know, as clean as possible so that the compound is what's doing the work, not the actual like mechanical friction. All right, so the good news is that we're pretty much there. I don't think I'm going to be able to get out all of the small little dots, and it's going to look quite almost hazy still, just not having a degreaser, unfortunately. Next time I take it to the car wash, it'll clean it all off, but this will hopefully give you an idea in terms of where we started and where we got to. So I'm trying to catch the light here for you. So this is the one that has not been touched up. Lots of, you know, little kind of chips and dots and things. And this is the one that is done. So I'm not sure how noticeable that will be, the haze versus the clear, basically. There's definitely an improvement. Difficult to say exactly how much that will contribute, but yeah, I would say an improvement nonetheless. So I'll go ahead and get the second one done and get them installed on the vehicle. Okay, so we're back in the garage, and what I've done is I've pulled forward facing this wall here, and I've just taken 2 strips of painter's tape so it's, you know, won't leave a mark and it's easily removable. And what I've done is for each fog light, I've indicated where the top border of the fog light beam is located. So there is a little bit, you know, in this area, but generally speaking, this is the height. And the reason why I've done this is because the fog lights will orient themselves left, right automatically because it's not adjustable. There's just 2 sort of locating, let's call them tabs or pins. However, they are adjustable up and down, and the reason being, as I've mentioned before, is you don't want them, you know, facing into oncoming traffic, you know, in driver's eyes, and you don't want them facing, you know, too low because then they just lose their efficacy. So we're going to leave this on here. We're going to replace the fog lights, and then we're going to orient the replacements at this same level so that we maintain, you know, factory preset settings. All right, let's do it. All right, so you join me underneath the vehicle, and I'll just take a moment to point out a couple of things. So this is one of the locating tabs here, and the fog lights essentially pivot up and down. This is your electrical connector here on the back. There is going to be a little black tab that'll just lift up to disconnect that. And there is a Phillips screw right here, which does have a little spring around it, and the tip threads into the bracket up here. We will be removing the screw, but this is your adjuster, and this is what pivots around or pushes and pivots around here so that you get the proper pitch, you know, or up down on the fog lights. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start first by removing that screw, because again, we've already marked on the wall, so we don't need to maintain that pitch anymore. There we go. And get the electrical connector. One little tab. And there we go. Electrical connector's out. All right, so rather than put too much force on those tabs on a bit of an awkward angle, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in to the side of the lamp here and simply try to provide enough, almost. We just want enough that those tabs open up. There we go. So we've seen that it pivots here, and then we can come in on the opposite side here. We can move the tab out of the way here. Oh, goodness grief. Perfect. All right. You can see here the electrical connectors should just be a plug and play. This one's definitely seen some life, but let's just pop that in. There we go. And that's a new fog light LED. Now we just go back in, we insert our screw and spring into that adjuster, and then we will reorient it on the wall. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now and replace the other side, and then I'll meet you back here in a minute. We have both fog lights installed and plugged in, ready to go. You can see here on the driver's side, we're a bit too low, and we can see over on the passenger side, the opposite is true. It's a bit too high, so what we want to do is adjust that screw and bring that cutoff line more in line with the masking tape there, or the painter's tape rather. You can also tell immediately though how the color temperature is matched, which is a nice aesthetic feature I was going for, but also that there is a really nice cutoff. Although credit to the original factory fogs, the halogen ones, they had a decent cutoff. But there's definitely a higher lumen output here, which I'm looking forward to. So yeah, we're just going to do a quick adjustment, and I'll join you back here in a second for the final result. And there we go. We can see here that just like how we started, this is essentially the brightest spot. This is the focus point of the beam, although again, LEDs have a really nice consistent beam and sharp cutoffs, just characteristic of it. There is a little overspill like we had again with the original factory fogs. And something I did notice with the original factory fog was that the passenger side was a bit lower than the driver's side. So I've adjusted it just a hair higher on the passenger side. But again, what this is going to equate to is better forward visibility driving down the road at night. Fog lights are great not only for in foggy conditions, as their name implies, but also to catch the sides of the road, whereby you can see if there's like kind of animals or critters that might pop out at you. So if you're in a deer or ungulate prone area, having good lighting is really important. So that just about wraps up our initial first accessories and modifications, tweaks and changes to the new GREYWOLF truck. I'd like to thank you very much for watching as always. If you have any questions about anything that you've seen in this video, please let me know in the comments down below. In the meanwhile, if you enjoyed this content and you're looking forward to a lot more backcountry RV and camping content, be sure to subscribe. We greatly appreciate that. You definitely won't regret it. There's some big plans in the works right now, and we're gonna get that going pretty soon. So thank you very much for watching. Sincerely appreciate it. You take care, and bye for now.